Let us pray. God, we're so thankful for this another day that you have allowed us to see. We're so grateful for the occasion that brings us together. As we celebrate life today and the life of Coach Lovett. Yes, God, we love it. We thank you for blessing us with such an awesome gift. Thank you for the lives that he continues to touch as he not only helped teams move the chains on the field, but now in the field of life, lives are still progressing because he helped young men find out their why. So now, God, as we celebrate his life today and celebrate with him, I pray, God, that he will enjoy the flowers from the seeds that he planted. Bless this entire occasion and grace it, God, with your presence as we enjoy each other. And thank God for Coach Lovett. And as we close this prayer out, every one of us closes it out by saying these words: I thank God for Coach Lovett. Y'all gotta do better than that. On three, 1, 2, 3. Thank God for Coach Lovett.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Barber. We will now have a musical selection by Ms. Carla Crump. And Ms. Crump is heavily connected, her family, with Dr. Lovett. Her parents were his classmates at Virginia State, and they lived in the same neighborhood. Ms. Carla Crump.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
This is indeed a pleasure and an honor to do this for such a great man, wonderful friend, family friend for many, many years, neighbor and everything else. It's a challenge for me today, but because I have these energies here beside me, we're going to make it work.
know the truth. Yes, I do. Let's clap it out again one more time for Ms. Crump. My name is Jensen Baker, class of 78, and I was one of Coach Lovett's first quarterbacks when he came in 74. And I would like to welcome you, but right now, the enthusiasm in this room is a little lax for me, all right? Because this is a big celebration. Now, okay, to kick this thing off, now, this is what I need for y'all to do. I'm gonna simulate Coach Lovett's first day when he came into the gym to talk to the team, okay? Now, I'm gonna be Coach Lovett. You guys are gonna be the team, all right? Good morning, gentlemen. This is what I'd like for you to do. I would like for you to chant with me, okay? Now, when we chant, I need everybody chanting with enthusiasm, okay? So now you have to chant with me. 46, 46. 46. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. 46. Come on, come on. 46, 46, 46, 46. Now, I looked over to Reggie Dawes and I said, Reggie, what is 46? And I quote, the hell if I know, but it sounds good, so keep saying it. Now, let me tell you about 46. 46 was Coach Lovett's favorite play. I don't care what down it was, it can be 4th down and 10. If he felt like we're gonna run 46, we're gonna run 46. And all of the kids that I've coached through my years, I've never seen anyone run 46 like Dave Breeze Walters. Raise your hand, Breeze, raise your hand. He's sitting back there, coach. Okay? All right? Now, Skitch and Miss Lovett is looking down, smiling right now. I know they are. They're looking down, smiling at this day. It's a lot of football nostalgia that's in this room. A lot of history. Now, they asked me to go first, but they did not know that I was going to tell about all the people in here I talked to. Stories that I've told, family members that I've talked to. Okay, last night at the reception, more lies was told in that room. We sat Coach right in the middle. We sat a chair beside him. And so Dr. Edgar Farmer, who played on his championship team in '61, he said, Bake, this is the way we need to do it. So he went first. I think he's the only one that didn't tell a lie. Everybody else that came up there, it was beautiful. And the speech that Coach gave us last night, I got to put it on Facebook, and you guys will see it. He was just talking about how much he appreciated all of us. Now, I want to introduce his daughters. Gina, stand up, please. I'm going to put you on the spot. Kim, Susan, and Sybil, could you stand up, please? All right. Let's give them a hand. And the reason why I say that is, you know, I would call Coach, I might have missed a few homecomings, but I would call him almost every homecoming. And it was one of these ladies or Miss Lovett that was always there for Coach Lovett. Now, it kind of takes me back, remind me of a story that I was talking to Kim, and baby, this was before I got married, Catherine. I just want to let you know, way before I got married, and clean that up right now. That's my wife, Catherine. My wife, Catherine, just wave your hand. My two boys. So I said, Kim, oh, y'all can have a seat. I'm sorry. Let's clap it out for the Lovett girls. So I said, Kim, I said, in the next life, I'm going to be the one that married the coach's daughter. And she said, okay. Yeah. And so I guess about a year ago, I said, Kim, you remember when I told you that in the next life I'm going to, be the one to marry the coach? She said, yeah, Jensen, yeah, I remember, And I'm like, yeah, Jensen. And she thought I was talking about her. I was talking about Gina. But, I really felt like, God told John and James, to pick up your nets and follow me. They were fishermen. And I think he told Coach Lovett the same thing. Pick up your nets and follow me. I will make you fishermen of men. And in this room right here is one of Coach Lovett's biggest catches. In this room right here. But the thing about that is, Coach went back and got his net and his fishing pole because he loved to fish. He loved to fish. His son Skitch and I were real tight. Skitch used to always talk about a boat that was behind James Hall. And I said, I got to go over here and see this boat. So it was just one of the things that I put on my bucket list was to go fishing with Coach Lovett. So last August, it happened with his brother Bill, who passed in February, and it was hilarious. And to tell you the story behind that, Bob City said, babe, you got to call Hop. Hop go fishing with him all the time. So I talked to Kim. Kim said, yeah, Jensen, he goes out there. And I said, Dad, you 92 years old. You can't go out there fishing by yourself. So he said, well, first of all, I'm grown and you ain't gonna tell me what to do. He said, second of all, I'm not going by myself, I'm going with my brother. Kim said, but your brother is 96. So that's how much that Coach loves fishing, and he still, misses his brother. When I picked him up the other day, he was talking about, just how much he loved his brother. I got to get to my committee. And I think sometimes, I got on their nerves, but we're here today and we're kicking this thing off. And first one I want to talk about, could you pull that picture up? I want to talk about my man. Now, let me go back. We got 3 doctors on our committee, but this is family, so I'm not being disrespectful if I don't call them doctor, all right? Because we family, and to me, they always just going to be who they are. This first picture right here is Don Rose. Don Rose was, former coach here, and Don played with us. But we call Don Bushead, okay? Now, last night, this picture right here, look at this picture right here. I'm going to tell you why we call him Bushead, all right? I was talking to Pam Richardson. She said, you know what my office is? I said, yeah, it's over there by Bushead office. She said, Bushead? I said, Don Rose. I said, we call him Bushead. So you look at the top picture. This is just last night, right? Now you see Sam Moore is kind of right beside Doss. Y'all probably don't know who Doss is. Between Bop City, that's Sam Moore. Now you look in the next picture, and you don't see Sam Moore. Because he's behind Bushead. His head's so big, But hey, Don, man, I want to thank you for everything you've done on the committee, everything that you was handling. The next one is Bop City. Now, Bop City, I guess his real name is Thomas Hasty III. Where is Don? Don? Where is Don? Stand up, Don. It's Don right there, okay? I'm sorry, that's Bushead. All right, the next one on the committee handled all of the finances for us. He worked for Town Bank. I went to Town Bank to pick up a check. I said, Bop City left me a check. They said, Bop City? I said, I'm sorry. Thomas Hasty III, all right? But where you at, Bop, baby? Oh, you right here, Bop City. Stand up, man. Thank you. Thank you for all you done on this committee. Okay, the next one is from a little town called Enabena, Mississippi. Now, when he went up Edgar Farmer went first to talk to Coach Lovett last night. So Buck went second. And he's going to sit down beside Coach, and he's going to say, Coach Lovett, I am the greatest football player that you ever coached. And I looked at him, and if you know Bobby Buxton, he loves to talk, run a stand-up Buck. That's Bobby Buxton on our committee. I appreciate the things that he did. Now, these next three have to be the baddest cheerleaders that have ever come through the Ciaa, MEAC, or wherever. And they still can jam. Dr. Lenore Armstrong. Lenore, where you at? Okay. Dr. Sylvia Woody. Sylvia. Okay. Miss Zoe Vaughn, where you at, Zoe? Okay, Zoe just went outside, okay? Let's get those cheerleaders a hand, because they ran our hospitality room last night, and we appreciate that. We had to have a family member on our committee, and I guess I kind of got on her nerves because I said, okay, now you're on the committee, now you're not. Now you're on the committee, now you're not. Now you can come to a Zoom, now you can't come to a Zoom. Because we were sort of doing some things that we didn't want the family to know, and that's Kim. Kim, raise your hand, okay? All right, Kim Lovett. Now, this next young lady, I can't say enough. I mean, y'all talk about how we have, homecoming, you have Miss Hampton and all of that. This is the true Miss Hampton. I mean, if you want something done, all you have to do is call this young lady. When I told Don, we was in the meeting and I was thinking about it, Don said, look, man, when you told me that Joan was on the committee, he was like, case closed, it's done. Everything is good. But Joan, I appreciate you. Dr. Joan McMillan Wickham, okay? We went through the committee and I gave them assignments. And at the end, I said, look, Joan will do everything else, so we ain't worry about that. Okay, all right. Now, I got the roast. Coach. I wouldn't think I would get up here and roast them. Let me see that picture of those coaches. Let me see that picture of those coaches. Now, this picture right here, okay? I was always coached by white coaches, okay? White coaches, predominantly white school that I went to. And so when I came to Hampton, it was Coach had just brought these three guys into my life. Coach Teddy Bako, Coach Joe Buggs, who's sitting right here, and my quarterback coach, Coach Collier. Now, they just had a different type of vocabulary than I was used to. It was kind of like a culture shock. But these guys right here, they turned my life around. I thank you for that, Coach. Okay. Now, we got one more. I think it's smoking. All right, now, this picture right here. You can't see it, Coach. That's you smoking a cigarette. 1975, I guess the coaches could smoke. I don't know, but this was him smoking a cigarette. Now, the story was told to me. Hey, Terrence Green, come here for a second. The story was told to me by Terrence Green. He played in '81. And I got to let him tell the whole story. I got to, right quick, Coach.
Coach, I'm not going to make it too bad. I'm not going to make it too bad. We were playing, I want to say Elizabeth City. Am I right, guys? Elizabeth City, 1985.
Oh, good.
1985, we were in Elizabeth City. At Elizabeth City, and I want to say Coach was just finished off the play, and the players came to the sideline, somebody knocked him down. And he was laying on his back, and we thought he was in pain. So everybody said, "Pep him up, is he all right?" And somebody said, "Grab his cigarette." Coach said, "You grab my cigarette, I kill you."
I told Coach he had to share that one. Okay, now, quickly, Don Rose said, hey, Bake, look, man, you got a lot of heavy hitters up here speaking now. How much time you gonna get these guys? I say, well, we get them 2 minutes, and so Buxton says, we'll let Coach Bugs go last. I say, look, I'm not gonna tell Coach Bugs he got 2 minutes, because he'll have me running laps after the luncheon. So, but seriously, we kind of want everybody to kind of, just be respectful of the time. Joan was saying, hey, this is Coach Lovett's moment, if people want to speak. But if you get too much, you have that handheld mic? Okay, could you give it to this gentleman right here on the end? Okay, so Bob City says, well, look, I know how we gonna handle that. And we got to bring Pastor Jerome Barber in there. So if you go too long, this is what you're gonna hear.
First down, Pirates.
All right, so if you're up here too long now, you're gonna have to move the chains, okay? So look, I just want to say that, oh man, this has been a nice ride. Everybody's here that's supposed to be here. Hey, so, and we're gonna move on. I don't have my agenda. Who we got next, Bob? Oh, that's Joan. Okay, I think, all right. Thank you very much. Y'all enjoy.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Before I have the mayor of the city of Hampton to come up to the podium and our illustrious president, President Darrell Williams of Hampton University, to come to the podium, I want to say a few words. When Baker called all of us, you have to know Baker to understand it. He said, this is what we're going to do, boom, 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 boom. No plans, no anything. So we follow our quarterback. We follow you, Baker. Baker and I are classmates. We both came to Hampton in 1974, the same year that Dr. Lovett came to Hampton. And with that being said, but Dr. Lovett was at Virginia State before he came to Hampton. He was a Trojan, and he is a Trojan. His degree says Virginia State College. So with that being said, would you please stand, all of the Virginia State University alums and affiliates? Thank you. Coach, there are some very special people in this room also today. You probably saw some of them, and you probably don't know they're in this room. But I did a little research and called a few numbers. If you are here from Carver High School in the early 60s when Dr. Lovett coached you, please stand. Later on in the program, Dr. Lovett's star quarterback from Carver High School is here today to help him win the state championship, Coach. He'll be up here. Now, I graduated the first time from the Institute. So in 1974, was Dr. Lovett's first year at Hampton, and it was our first year, many of us in this room that were freshmen in 1974. Bob City, that they keep referring to behind me, Mr. Hasty, was a year ahead of us. He was already there. And Dr. Lovett, when he speaks, he'll probably tell you his story of how Hampton brought him on board and brought him back home, because this gentleman right here experienced the 85-2 whipping that Virginia State put on us by Dr. Lovett. Then Dr. Lovett came to Hampton, and he started a winning football program. So all Hampton Institute, Hampton University players that, whether you played under Dr. Lovett, he was your AD, or whether he was your department chair, please stand if you were an athlete under Dr. Lovett at Hampton. Thank you so much. I would be remiss if I did not introduce, there are some people in the room who are from Virginia State's administration. If you are here, please stand. I think they're on the highway coming in. There are some folk in the room who are from Hampton University's administration. Please stand. Stand up, Brent, James. There's even a person up here on the stage who used to be our coach. He won 13 championships with us at Hampton. He went on to Virginia Union, but we're going to try to sneak him back to Hampton if we can. But Coach Taylor. Thank you so much. And now we will hear from our illustrious mayor of the city of Hampton, Mayor Donnie Tuck. Then we will hear from our illustrious president, President Darrell Williams. And then I have a proclamation that I will read from the CIAA commissioner. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon to the members here on the dais, to Dr. Lovett and to your family, to all the assembled guests. On behalf of Hampton City Council, I just want to say that, first of all, I did some research earlier this week about you, and I was just totally blown away by the accomplishments that Hampton University had under your leadership as athletic director. There were 2 national championships. There was one in women's basketball. There was one, I think, in men's basketball. There was tennis. And I think there were 3 runner-up finishes in tennis. And some of that's in the proclamation, but it's just absolutely outstanding. And actually, I'm probably going to be stepping in it, but Calvin Pearson and I had a conversation maybe 5 or 6 years ago about trying to find a way of honoring you in the city. And we talked at the time about possibly renaming Darling Stadium, but he reminded me that actually, I think in whatever papers there were for that particular stadium, we couldn't change the name of it. But it's still my intent to try and find some way before I'm done as mayor to honor you for the wonderful things that you've done and just what you've done for our city. And then one other thing before I read the proclamation, there's that other HU, and many of you probably don't realize that actually Coach Taylor and I worked together there for a year. And so actually it's great to see you again, Coach Taylor. It's the City of Hampton, Virginia, proclamation in honor of Dr. Walter Lovett in the city of Hampton, Virginia. Whereas Dr. Walter Lovett was born on January 5th, 1929. Whereas he is a 1940 graduate of George P. Phoenix High School. Whereas he received a BS degree from Virginia State College in 1951, an MS degree from Indiana University in 1954, and a PhD from Indiana University in 1971. Whereas he played college football and coached at George Washington Carver High School, Virginia State College, now Virginia State University, and Hampton University, formerly Hampton Institute. Whereas following much dedication and hard work, Dr. Lovett was credited for revamping Hampton University football and making it a success. Whereas Dr. Lovett served as Hampton University's athletic director from 1977 until 1990. Under his leadership, the Hampton Pirates received numerous recognitions and awards, including the Loretta Taylor Award for Athletic Excellence in Women's Competition in the CIAA, and the C.H. Williams Award for Athletic Excellence in the CIAA. Whereas also under his leadership, the Pirates tennis team won the 1989 NCAA Division II national title and 3 national runner-up finishes. The Lady Pirates won the 1988 Women's NCAA Division II National Championship and 4 regional championships. And Pirate athletes won 17 CIAA championships. Whereas during his career, Dr. Lovett held many titles and received numerous honors and achievement awards, including Chairman of the Northern Division of the CIAA, Chairman of the NAIA District 19 Basketball Committee, Member of the NAIA District 19 Executive Committee, CIAA Coach of the Year, NAIA Coach of the Year, and Professor and later Head of the HU Physical Education Department. Whereas Dr. Lovett, who was affectionately known to his players as Daddy Love, was a mentor and coach to countless students and athletes, many of whom excelled later in life and played professional football for the National Football League. And whereas on July 16, 2022, friends, family, and colleagues will gather to celebrate longtime Hampton resident Dr. Walter Lovett, the impact he has had on countless lives and the outstanding contributions he has made to our community. Now, therefore, I, Donnie R. Tuck, Mayor, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Hampton, Virginia, do hereby recognize Dr. Walter Lovett in the City of Hampton, Virginia, and call upon the citizens of Hampton to join me in celebrating this legend who has influenced the life, the field of athletics, and touched the lives of so many individuals. In witness whereof, I hereunto have set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Hampton, Virginia to be affixed the 16th day of July, 2022. I'd like to present this to you, and in addition, I'd like to also present you with a commemorative coin that on one side has the seal of the City of Hampton, Virginia, and on the back side, each year we have a new theme, and this one is the 40th anniversary of the Mcwilliams AAU basketball tournaments.
Good morning, everyone. I guess it's afternoon now. And I'll just start my comments by saying a couple of things, and I will try to be brief. And so one is thank God. The next one I would say is thank you to Dr. Lovett. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. And then certainly I respect all of our Virginia State fans in the audience, but the last comment would be go Pirates, right? And so first of all, I can't tell you how delighted and honored I am to be the 13th president of Hampton University. Honored, really honored. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. But the day really is about Coach Dr. Lovett. And so I got to Hampton in 1979 as a freshman, and I graduated in 1983. And so I was here for a few of those years where Coach Lovett worked his magic on Hampton University and its program. And so the reason why I start with thank God is because we all only get a few chances in our lives to spend time with someone who truly made a difference. And a lot of that difference for Hampton University was part of my second thought about thanking Dr. Lovett. He truly made a difference. And so let me give you just a few more statistics about his time, specifically about the football team. So I go back to my friends at Virginia State. Thank you for the 85-2 whipping that we took in 1974, but had it not been for that, we might have never gotten Coach Lovett to Hampton University, right? Because as the old saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them, right? And so we had to hire Coach Lovett. And then what a lot of people don't know is that before he came to Hampton University, my understanding is that we had lost almost 26 consecutive games, and we were a laughingstock of college football. And so in between 1968 and 1973, Hampton Institute had only won 3 games. And then in 1974, his first season, we won 3 games, which equaled our entire total for the 5 years before that. And so while 3 games may not seem like a lot to you, I'm told the students at Hampton University were standing on their tables in the cafeteria because they were so excited. And so a few other statistics about Dr. Lovett's time as a football coach. And so we finally had 2 7-win seasons, back-to-back seasons, in 1976 and 1977. 1976, we went 7-4. That was the first time that we had 7 wins since 1958. And it's the first time that we had consecutive 7-win seasons since 1930 and 1931. And so I bring up those statistics and I relate it to Dr. Lovett because it wasn't as much about the wins as it was changing the culture of the football team and the entire institution. And so it is not an understatement to say that Dr. Lovett is responsible for the modern era of college football and in many ways athletics at Hampton University. And the number of lives that he transformed during his time as both the coach and the athletic director cannot be overstated. Now, I digress for a second. I wanted you all to know that Thomas Hasty passed me a card when we were in the lobby, and he asked me if it was possible for him to get a position on this year's football team. And so I told him I couldn't make a judgment on that. He'd have to go through a tryout just like everybody else. But in that regard, I was going to ask our current coach, current Prunty, to come to the stage, and he wants to make a couple of presentations. Give our football coach a round of applause, please. Give him a round of applause. You know, while he's coming, I wanted to recognize, this entire audience. And many of you may be familiar with the phrase that when people come to show up to recognize you, those are your credentials. And so when you think about how long ago he left Virginia State and how long ago he left Hampton University and how long ago he left Carver High School, and the fact that almost 200 people would show up to honor this great man, you are his credentials. You are his credentials. And so I'm going to turn the microphone over to our current football coach, who has promised me at least another 7-win season this year. Coach Prunty. Yeah.
Well, we had a staff meeting last night, and we did some planning, and we decided to put Coach on the roster. So, Coach, we got a goodie bag for you here. We got you a customized Hampton book bag, along with Coach came in and spoke to the football team. I don't know if some of you guys saw it on YouTube. It was touching. And the players told me, they said, when you get to the event, Coach, don't forget us. He said, we want to lead Coach with something. And in the off-season program, we wear a shirt. And I think this symbolizes what Coach Lovett stands for. God is love. And we want Coach to be, and we want Coach to be the first one to wear it. And I'll be brief, but it's a lot of stuff in here. When we on the road and Coach watching us on TV, he can put his traveling suit on. And he can sit and watch us play. And then when Coach is at home, we've also put his home uniform where he can sit and watch us play. So, Coach, thank you.
And so, look, it's never good to be between a crowd like this and lunch. And so we'll be as brief as we can, but the coach and I wanted to together present him with an NCAA football symbolizing his time at Hampton University and the rest of his wonderful time to come. Thank you for your legacy, Coach. You helped to change and impact Hampton University, Hampton Institute, in a very, very positive way. And I know that I speak for everyone in this crowd to say that it was more than about the athletics. It was about building young men and women to be leaders in our community and our world. And for that, we all want to say, thank you, you gotta love it.
Good afternoon again. I am here to read the proclamation from the CIAA Commissioner, Jackie Mcwilliams, who is also a Hampton alum, and Dr. Lovett was her AD when she was at Hampton. But before I read this proclamation from the CIAA, I was remiss when I spoke earlier. There are several people in this room, Coach, that you coached on the collegiate level, and they went on to play for many years in the National Football League. Please stand if you are a former NFL player in this room today. Stand again. Coaches look around trying to see who you are. Stand up, NFL players. Thank you. Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association. A proclamation honoring Dr. Walter Lovett Sr., July 16, 2022. Whereas Dr. Walter Lovett impacted the lives of countless student athletes and coaches in the CIAA after a decade plus as a coach at 2 different CIAA institutions. Whereas Dr. Lovett is a 1951 graduate of Virginia State University, where he played quarterback on the football team for the Trojans. Dr. Lovett served in the military before becoming head coach at Carver High School in Newport News, Virginia in 1955. In 1959, Dr. Lovett received his master's degree in physical education from Indiana University and returned to Indiana University for his doctorate in 1971. Whereas Dr. Lovett would spend 8 years as the head coach at Carver High School. His Virginia Interscholastic Association Championship in 1961 won Carver defeated Burley High School of Charlottesville, Virginia, still stands today as Carver's only state championship 40-plus years later. You may clap. Dr. Lovett would return to Virginia State as the defensive line coach and assistant professor of health and physical education in 1965. After 5 years in that role, Dr. Lovett assumed the head coach position at Virginia State University in 1970. Whereas Dr. Lovett's accolades at Virginia State include CIAA championships in 1970 and 1972, Virginia State's first titles since 1952. You may clap. He was the CIAA Coach of the Year in 1970 and followed that up with NAIA Coach of the Year awards in 1971 and 1972. In 3 years as head coach, Dr. Lovett coached 16 players to all CIAA honors and sent 2 players to the National Football League rookie draft. Defensive lineman Larry Brooks was selected in the 14th round of the 1972 NFL draft, and he played 11 years in the National Football League, all with the Los Angeles Rams. He finished his career with 74.5 sacks, 5 Pro Bowl appearances, and 2 All-Pro selections. As the Trojans head coach, he had a win-loss record of 21-8 and an overall conference record of 14-3. His .783 winning percentage is third all-time among Virginia State coaches with a minimum of 25 games coached. Whereas in 1973, Dr. Lovett, a Hampton, Virginia native, became the head football coach and athletic director at that time Hampton Institute, now Hampton University. In the 5 years prior to Dr. Lovett's arrival, the Pirates had won only a total of 3 games and had a stretch of 26 consecutive losses. Dr. Lovett's first season featured 3 wins alone, including consecutive wins at home on Armstrong Field in 1975, a 5-5 record. And it gave Hampton its first non-losing season since 1968. Dr. Lovett had a pair of 7-4 seasons in 1976 and 1977. Hampton's first consecutive 7 or better win season since 1930 and 1931. It was also Hampton's first 7-win season since 1958. Whereas under his coaching tenure at Hampton, Dr. Lovett produced 19 All-CIAA selections and 5 Associated Press All-Americans, including defensive lineman Reggie Doss, who became just the second Hampton player to be drafted into the National Football League. Dr. Lovett finished with 35 wins at Hampton, tied for 4th all-time in school history. Whereas one of Dr. Lovett's defining moments as athletic director was the initiation of the National Youth Sports Program, the first of its kind in the region that introduced youth to organized sports. In 2017, Dr. Lovett was honored as the Sports Person Emeritus Award winner by the Peninsula Sports Club. Whereas Dr. Lovett earned induction into the Virginia State Hall of Fame in 1990, and the CIAA honored Dr. Lovett in the John B. McLendon Jr. Hall of Fame in 2014. In 2017, Dr. Lovett was introduced by the Virginia Interscholastic Association Heritage Association Hall of Fame for his time at Carver High School. Be it therefore resolved, the Central Intercollegiate Athletics Association hereby honor and express its most sincere appreciation to Dr. Walter Lovett for his years of dedication, leadership, and service to the conference and its membership. Jackie Mcwilliams Parker, CIAA Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, our MC of the afternoon, Mr. Thomas Hasty, better known as Bop City and Bop Baby.
I don't have any prepared remarks. I know we need to be brief because I know y'all want to eat because I want to eat too. But this little 85-2 thing got me feeling some kind of way. Because told Coach last night, he came in and saved us because it just was not a good football place. I mean, it just wasn't. And but he won with the same players that was here. So it's about the coaching, not the players. And the difference was he didn't talk to us like little boys. Most conversations, Coach would look you in the eye and call you man. He'd call you man and expect you to act like one. And that was the difference, because sometimes some of us need a little direction. And sometimes you just got to tell the truth and shame the devil. But he gave me some direction, and everybody didn't go to the NFL, but some pretty successful professionals in this room. They're successful because of lessons that Daddy Love taught them, and the ability of Mama Love to answer the phone when you need a little help from time to time. So we're going to get on with the program. I think Don, is Don going to do the PowerPoint? I thought he did. Yeah, Pastor Bob, did you bless the food?
can.
Whoa, yeah, well,
Let's pray. Lord, bless this food in Jesus' name. Amen.
I think I'm gonna visit this church.
Okay. So Reverend Barber, just make sure, I know you got the two minute deal. Make sure you don't start on me. Don't start on me. Okay. But anyway, my name is Don Rose, and again, just association with Dr. Lovett. I don't know if Lovett, you remember this, but in 1975, I went to Northview High School. I graduated, didn't get any offers, none, zero. And I was going to work with my dad in construction, and Dr. Lovett knew my mom and my dad, and somehow he told them if they came out and if you walk on, you might can earn some money. And at the time, I was 1 week before camp, and I said, I'm going to Hampton. And I came out, there was about 50 freshmen. I don't know if any freshmen in here with me, but it was 50 freshmen, so it was hard to make the team. But again, you gave me that opportunity, Doc, and I went on not to have a pretty decent career. So I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Okay, Rev, now the 2 minute start, But anyway, again, I'm excited. When Baker called me, he said, Don, I want you to be a part of it. And like I said earlier, Joan was on. I knew Joan was going to keep everything in line. And I said, okay, I'm a part of it. But anyway, they asked me to do a he's already straight, a PowerPoint. But this is the PowerPoint. And again, right now, what you will see from Carver High School, I think where you coach from 54 to 64. You also have Virginia State from 64 to 74, and from Hampton from 74 to 80. But also, what I want real quick, because we also had some folks who presented their ads. So all those who presented ads, please stand so we can recognize you. The presented ads in the PowerPoint. Okay. All those at Carver High School, please stand again. So you're in this, Carver High School. Carver High School, please stand. And Virginia State, please stand. Okay. And last but not least, Hampton University. Okay. Okay, on that note, I think I'm under 2 minutes. Enjoy the slide and go Pirates.
1968 was when my class first went in. As a matter of fact, but before I say anything else, I gotta be one of the most blessed guys in this room. I got my high school coach in here who sent me to Coach Lovett in 1968, I.C. Norcom. Coach Horace Savage would stand and play. Coach Savage is also a Hampton grad. Okay, and he did as well. But anyway, Bakes, we broke Coach Lovett in. When my class in 1968 went on the hill, Coach Lovett was the defensive coordinator of the team. Coach Lovett, he welcomed us in. We were 33 freshmen. And that blended in with a team of 50. So you could better believe, as a matter of fact, I'm just looking at quite a few of my teammates. Would you guys stand and be recognized with that 1968, 1969 team? And then I got something else I want y'all to show me. Y'all stand and be with me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard about that 85 to 2 blessing. Those guys you see standing along with myself, we was right up in there. We broke Coach Lovett in. No, y'all had to hire him after we left. But anyway, as I was saying, in 1968, we came in strong, 33 freshmen, snot-nosed, ragged teeth. We were wearing afros then until JP, our initiation, when everybody had to get a bald head. But anyway, Coach Lovett was the defensive coordinator, as I said. And the team was, y'all left out one of our All-Americans in the archives. We had we had a tackle named Jim Mitchell. And Jim Mitchell was one of the first high drafts that came out of Virginia State. He went with the Detroit Lions and as the number 3 draft, and he was third. And that was one of Coach Lovett's proteges. I mean, that was one of his real pupils. He was one of the ones that, I was on the offensive side of the ball. He was one of the ones that set us on the offense. He set us on fire. But anyway, when we went on the hill, we called Coach Lovett Mr. Lovett because that's what they told us when we went in to sign up for our classes. When we went on the field, it was Coach Lovett. But when we got in trouble with the Petersburg police, Richmond police, dean of students, campus cops, sneaking in the girls' dormitories, he was called Daddy Love. So Daddy Love started, I would like to think, with us, Daddy and Mama Love. But anyway, a lot of things that I want to talk about has already been discussed, so I'm not going to be redundant in my speech. But Coach Lovett came to the helm. Coach Lawson was the head football coach when we first went up in there. Coach Lovett came into the helm in the season of 1970. As a matter of fact, Coach Lawson had got enough of us freshmen, and he resigned the position. We were wondering who was going to take that position because Coach Lovett had disappeared. But when he disappeared and came back, he came back as Dr. Lovett. And that explained where he went when Coach Lovett had resigned at the end of our sophomore year. Dr. Lovett, as I said, has already been discussed. Dr. Lovett took us from 3-5-1 in our sophomore years to several CIAA championship teams. On the field, Dr. Lovett guided us to the season of 1970, 1971, and the class behind us, he really stepped on it and made them, and led them to championship. So here we go again. Coach Lovett did a hell of a job in producing, in making us what we were. And for Coach, we will always love you. We can't never forget the things that you've done.
Next up is Dr. Edgar Farmer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I can't hear you. Good afternoon, everyone. Do we have any old mega men in the house? I can't hear you. A few. What about Kappas? What about Alphas? All right. Okay, we're not going to prolong it. We are part of Dr. Lovett's 1961 championship team at Carver High School of Newport News. Yeah, come on, show some love. But before I go, actually, I want the captain of the team, one of the captains, is Donald Futrell. He's my captain, and also Linwood the Brew. Linwood the Brew is not here
today because he has some health challenges, laying on his back. And if you got a hookup, I want you to pray for him because he's going to need it, and he needs all of our prayers. Amen? All right. Captain Donald Futrell.
Good evening. Oh, this is a wonderful day. I'm back with my coach. My coach. I don't care what you say. All you guys, you young bucks, I'm gonna let you know today who is Coach Lovett's favorite player. And if you ask him, he's gonna tell you. You know, I started playing for Coach Lovett, and I'm gonna go way back, 1959. I was 14 years old. I was a freshman, only freshman that went out for the team. Now that was 63 years ago. I'm standing, never played football in my life, didn't know what position I wanted to play, but I was going out to play for Coach Lovett. And I was in that line just shaking when I, signing up, and he signed me up. He never asked me what position I wanted to play, because I didn't know. So when he gave me my equipment, we went out on the field, and Coach, that voice, powerful voice, and he started talking, and he started talking about life. He would, we out there supposed to be playing football, but he was reading the riot act, how we supposed to act. It's another life after Carver High School. There's another life after football. You treat your parents with respect, your teachers, your school, your community. Coach Lovett was about the entire community. I came from a project called Newsom Park. And that's where the players came from. We came from Newsom Park in Newport News, Virginia. And trying to, playing for Coach Lovett was a beautiful thing. He never yelled, he never fussed, he never called your name, he never pulled your mask, he never did anything to you. He was a humble coach. After my freshman year with Coach, and then Coach had a vision. Then that vision was like 2 years away. He took me as a freshman quarterback. When I went out and I was, Coach Lovett told the guys my freshman year, say, okay, position guy, go with your position coach. Ends, tackles, so forth, defensive backs. I'm still standing, didn't know what position I wanted to play, didn't have an idea. And I don't know if Coach told his quarterback at that particular time was Rufus Swedenberg, my hero, taught me a lot about quarterbacking. Coach, now all you quarterbacks out there, you guys were already quarterbacks when you came to Coach Lovett. I was not a quarterback. He taught me the game. He taught me everything about football. He taught me how to be a quarterback. And so 2 years, 1961, Coach Lovett had put all his pieces together. I mean, everything was put in place. We even, players were coming in, he was putting them in place. And I was going to be his quarterback. He had been working with me for 2 years. And he started, some of the players that came in to help, when he started us back when I was in the 9th grade, a JV team, he put us, although we was on the varsity, he took the young guys, 10th graders and myself, the only freshmen, and he worked with us and worked with us. He got games for us as junior varsity players. We played about 6 games and we won all the games. He knew he had something. 2 years in the making. And we added 6 to 1, we added a great player. And I heard all the other guys that went to pros while you was in college. Coach Leroy Keys, the greatest of all times. The greatest of all times. And he joined our team in 6 to 1. And everything turned out great for us. We love Coach. Coach was wonderful for me. I love the man. I will never forget him. And we have a gift to give to Coach. And it reads, Coach Lovett, George Washington Carver, BIA State Champions, 1961. We have a hat for Coach, which also say Coach Lovett, George Washington Carver, BIA State Champions, 1961. And we have a football to present to Coach. A couple of players signed it, and Coach Farmer will read.
Actually says, to Dr. Walter Lovett, with love and appreciation for being our coach, our role model, our mentor, and our friend, members of your G.W. Carver High School, Newport News, Virginia, 1961 VIA State Championship team presented on this day, July 16, 2022. Coach also taught us a song. Everywhere you go, people want to know who you are. Come on. Where you come from. So we tell them we are the Trojans. The mighty, mighty Trojans. Love you, Coach.
Okay, is Miss Peggy Davis here? She's not here? Okay. So next up, representing Pirate football, little fella by the name of Reggie Dawes. Also known as Big Daddy.
Of course, they had to send me up when you're right in the middle of your lunch here, Coach. So I'm sorry, man. I'd just like to thank everyone who's here today because it just kind of shows not just what Coach Lovett has done in your lives, but just the love that we have for this man that's sitting here, because he's been kind of he's always been a role model for me. And he's always been the guy that, if you had any issues at all, I remember my freshman class, especially Baker, my man here, we came to Hampton 17 years old. You know, Baker's 2 days older than I am, December 5th, December 7th. So we kind of bonded. And it's just something that we did with all the other freshmen that came in, because we've heard the records and heard how Hampton was the doormat and all of that. But I wound up coming here from Texas because my high school coach, Coach Clyde Clack, back in the mid to late 50s, was my high school coach. And he told me, he said, hey, Reggie, they've got a new coach coming in that I know, and this program is turning around, you know, because Texas football, I mean, it's Texas football. I mean, we used to have 20, 30,000 people Friday night football where I grew up. And I came to Hampton, I think the first game, Baker, we had, maybe about 1,000? But it really meant nothing because of what Coach Lovett told us. I don't know how many of you saw that video a couple of weeks ago where he came out and spoke to Coach P's team. And my wife brought in the YouTube video because 3 hours earlier in Southern California, so it was like 7 o'clock, 5:45. I'm like, why is she getting me up to look at this? But I didn't see it directly, but as he started talking, I was like, oh man, that's Coach Lovett. You know, just that voice. I mean, I could hear it anywhere, man. And that voice of not so much of authority, that deep bass that comes out of this small frame man, but just the respect that, like myself, and I'm sure all of you that are in here, and he just kind of demanded that with just the tone of his voice, you know. He didn't have to, he's not one of these talkers that'll get up and tell you long, drawn-out speeches, because I played 18 years of football, and I tell you, I've had some long-winded coaches, boy, and I tell you, Coach Lovett's not one of those. He's direct, he's to the point. He lets you know what you should be learning, what you should be doing. And I'll tell you, we were talking about it the other night, about our tour days, as most people would say. We had 4 days. I'm serious, we had 4 days. We get up in the morning at 5, we go out to the field and we run. Go to breakfast 7:30, we come back at 9:30, helmet, shoulder pads, and shorts. 2 hours, banging, banging, banging. Go to lunch, come back at 2:30, full gear. Bang, bang, bang. Come back in the lights at night and go over the stuff that you went on through those other 3 practices. And we used to stay over the old gym. What's the gym called, Baker? Where we were? Jerome Hart, what? Howard Hall. There was a big, like a barracks up top. All whatever, 80 or 100 of us over the top. And about 2 or 3 in the morning, you'd hear like, and you know, when you're trying to sleep, you don't really care knowing what it is, but you get up next morning, start getting dressed and looking like, damn, what happened to James? Where did Bill go? And they're taking their trunks down those stairs, boom, 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 boom. Sneaking out at night. I mean, that's just the honest truth. And am I telling Thad? Where you at, Thad? Am I telling the truth or not? Because every year we'd lose about 10 that way without having being cut or whatever. But it was the type of conditioning that most people say, man, you guys are crazy going through all this. But I'll tell you what, when the NFL draft came around, and I went into training camp, I go to the Rams. They only had 2 days. And I said, this got to be a piece of cake. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure half you guys couldn't hang with us the stuff that we did when we were back in college, man. But just to say, Coach Lovett, we love you, man. You know, you've been not just a mentor, but you've been a person in my life that you helped build my character, you know. And as a 17-year-old kid coming in and not knowing very much, you directed me and told me what you need to do in order to not just be successful in what you do, but to be a teammate, a team player. And that's the one thing that our class we had. I mean, my 4 years there, I mean, we loved all our guys. I mean, just some of these guys I hadn't seen in, seriously, almost 40 years. And as you come up, man, just give you a big hug, like, damn, man, I miss seeing you, man. And that's just the kind of camaraderie and love that we have for each other. And believe it or not, that carries on to the field. That means I got this guy's back. He's got my back over here. And that's what kind of changed this whole ball rolling, from being a team that was a doormat to a contender. And Coach, I'd give you props because I wasn't around when you were doing your duties, but I heard about you, man, and you really got them going, you know what I'm saying? So congratulations on that. But this man, when I got inducted into Hampton's Hall of Fame in 2009, I think the first things I said was, you know, I feel a little empty here because that man over there, and I pointed at Coach Lovett, should be right up here with us. And that was, man, all those years ago. And it's like what we're doing now is kind of, I think, just a little tip of what's ahead for Coach. You know what I mean? Because so many times, so many things like this, we wait until it's too late, until they're gone. And then you want to honor them. Then you want to tell them all this great stuff. But this man has done everything and more, and he should be in the Hampton's Hall of Fame, and he should be in LA right away. And Coach, I mean, I know you've been hearing this since last night and all week, you know, about, you know, this and that, and I know you aren't that kind of man, you know what I'm saying? You don't need that. Hey, as long as you can go out and fish, you are happy, okay? I know that's your one thing that you love, you know, but I think speaking for, I know all the guys that I played with, you know, this is something that we couldn't wait to do. I couldn't wait to get here for this, man. And just to be here and just to share this, all the stories that you've accomplished, all your accomplishments, you know, you are the man, Coach. We love you, bro.
All right. And now what we're going to have is the things that used to get us in trouble. Because if you play defense and the offense is on the field, you hear cheers behind you. And, you know, it was Hampton. So when the cheerleaders was out there, it ain't like there wasn't something to look at, you know? So sometimes you might turn our head and look back there. So we got 3 of the cheerleaders from our era. They're going to come out here for us.
We're going to do some jump splits.
Yes, it is now. Hi, everybody. I'm so on, and I was on the very first cheering squad when Dr. Coach Lovett came in. I am the class of 77. Back then, we didn't have freshman cheerleaders, so I cheered my sophomore year, which was Lovett's first year. And then these 2 came in after I graduated, and I tried them out, so I was in grad school. So, anyway, so, hey everybody, Lenore and I are class of 81, and yes, we did come under Ms. Zoban, and it was very interesting. We had a great time, and we're gonna try to remember a few things. You guys, that was 19, and yeah, we used to be flipping and doing jump splits and all of that. Right now, we want you to appreciate the spirit that is inside of all of us, and we want you guys to join in. We're only going to do 2 repeat cheers, right? And we want you to join in. We're going to change them a little bit, you'll see, and just join in and have fun. If we remember all the words, great. If we remember some of them, great. We add them, you act like that was what it was when we did it before, right? So Lenore was my partner in crime, Zoe was bigger. And we just discovered there are 2 other cheerleaders, 2 other C5Cs in the room, and they're gonna help us out. All right, Michelle and Raynette, come on. And they're gonna position themselves in the back so that we can hear everyone. Reverend Barbara, where are you? We're gonna try to be loud without this microphone. Oh. I said I gotta stretch. And you guys see the spirit. This one here was our gymnast. And what I say to that, Coach Lovett, this is for you. You remember all of us, and his daughters, we were all in school together. But even though Lenore was a gymnast and running and flipping, life happens, right? And even though life happens, she's still here with us, and we're going to give you what we need. All right? Here we go. Oh, we have one other thing. This is a joke, you guys. We're going to do Check It Out. How many of you remember Check It Out? Good. And the other one we're going to do is We Are the Pirates. All right? And these are repeat cheers, and I'm going to make you laugh. On the way out, our outgoing president looked over at Lenore and I and said, I have one question. How funky is your chicken? I don't know who remembered that. Of all the cheers, he remembered that. You had to have been there. We had told him if he had stayed, we were going to add it. But since he left, we'll show him that one at another time. All right, here we go.
Check it out. Shoot, shoot, shoot up. Shoot, shoot up. You are alumni. Yeah. Hampton. Yeah. You are bad. Yeah. Check it out. Shoot, shoot up. Shoot, shoot, shoot up. He was the coach. Yeah. You gotta love it. Yeah. He is bad. Yeah. Check it out. This one is called, what are we doing? Coach, it wasn't during practice. I don't know what happened. All right, we ready?
Go ahead, y'all. Get it. All right. Hey.
We are the pirates. You gotta love it, 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 you gotta love it. Keep it great. Let me hear you holler. Woo! Let me hear you holler. Woo! Let me hear you holler. Woo! Ain't that great? That is hot. Check it out, check it out.
Y'all still bad. Y'all still bad.
We love you, Coach Lovett. We love you.
Okay. Thank y'all. Is Coach Mike Smith? Move right along. All right. Next up, the guy that brought us the national titles is Coach Joe Taylor.
Wow. Why y'all got me following the cheerleaders? We still got it going. I'm going to be extremely brief. Like Elizabeth Taylor told all our 8 husbands, I'm not going to keep you long. But I was honored to get the call to come and share in this very special moment. Great friend of mine, great colleague, and really when you look at the success of Dr. Lovett, it really can be summarized. And the definition of a coach, is someone who takes people to places that they cannot go by themselves. This is what he did. And you can tell by this audience that they appreciated all that he offered. One of the top assistant coaches that was ever on any of my staffs played for Coach Lovett, and that's Don Rose. They, when it came to, just fundamental skill teaching, when it came to making sure that everybody was academically sound, Don, he took care of all of that. And that's because of, again, what he learned while playing for You Gotta Love It. And how does someone take people to places that they cannot go by themselves? Well, it's very simple. All of us in here have 4 numbers that precedes us. It talks about, or it designates the year that we were born. At some point, there's going to be 4 additional numbers. That will represent expiration. But in between those 2 sets of 4 numbers is a what? A dash. Now, we're not going to go through all of what that is, but D-A-S-H spells dash. He taught his young men that to win, you must be disciplined. You got to do the right thing. Any kind of success that you're hoping for, it starts with discipline. A, attitude. He always reminded his guys, flush all negativity. I don't care what project you came from. When you get your mind right, get your attitude right, you can do anything in this world you want to do. He taught that. S, sacrifice. All Americans are not made during the season. It's what you do in the off season. Those early morning get-ups that you talked about. Sacrifice. He taught them to embrace sacrifice. And then H is really the best one. Habits. Man does not decide his future. Man decides his habits. His habits decide his future. He taught them good habits, good life. Get your habits straight, you get your life straight. Again, it's my honor, and to be in a situation where you've been honored. They don't honor coaches, they run them out of town, okay? So it says a lot that everybody wanted to see this day come to fruition. Love you, congratulations, and you're one of the best I've ever seen. Thank you so much.
All right. Next up, we're gonna bring up a Hampton legend. For those of us that played when Coach got here, he brought some interesting assistants with him, and you know, when they call it I think Reggie called it a barracks. You know, during summer ball, we stayed in the top of the gym. Well, it wasn't barracks; it was the attic. So you figure if it was 92 outside, you know what it was in there. But the guy whose job it was to get us up out of the field every morning was this guy. And Joe Bugs. He'd come up the steps and he'd say, "Man, want y'all on the field at 6 a.m." Well, I won't repeat some of the responses he got. But then if it got real ugly, he'd bring Teddy Baycoat with him. And we all be so scared to death, we run down the steps. So, Joe Bugs.
Bob City say I'm gonna talk a long time, but everything I need to say has been said. There's not very much left, but I can truly say that I thank the committee for this opportunity to be here with my great friend. We've traveled around together a little bit when we were coaching, and I really got to know him. So I would like to say this. A coach can change a game, but a great coach can change a life. Now remember that. A coach can change a game, but a great coach can change a life. And that's what this gentleman did, and that's what some other coaches up here did. They changed lives. Dr. Lovett, we must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in one's lives. That was a statement from John F. Kennedy. Thank you, Dr. Lovett, for making a difference in my life and to many others. We thank you, and God bless you. I'm honored to say, Coach Lovett, to me, is this: a mentor. He was a leader. He was a tutor, a trainer, a counselor, an instructor, an advisor. He was a teacher, a listener, and a great friend. And when I say a great friend, I mean a great friend. He picked me up when I was down and started me back on my way. I stayed with Dr. Lovett, and he helped me get a job at North Carolina A&T from Hampton University. When I came here, this man promised me that he would give me the opportunity to finish my master's degree, which I started here, And in a year and a half time, I finished it. And from there, I moved on to North Carolina A&T. I'm truly amazed that a coach is a hard worker. So Coach Lovett, you're a hard man to find. You are difficult to part with. And you are impossible to forget. And I know that goes along for all the guys who run all day and run all night. Run all day and run all night. And there were other few little sayings that I gave the young men, and this young man right here, I don't think he forgot one of them. He knew them all. But along with that, I'd like to say, I thank God for you, Coach Lovett. Born on the peninsula, known to many, the peninsula is known to many as a 757. You come into my life at the right time. And will never forget you. So I leave you with this word. You are very difficult to part with, and you are impossible to forget. I thank you. I appreciate you. I'm glad to see all of you here. All you young men who were here when I was here, I'd like to see you run 100 yards of glory.
Yeah, we had a name for Joe Bugs because they said Bino, you know. But so Joan, you're up next, and we're gonna get to the meat of the program. But don't leave before it's over, because it's gonna sort of be like a Baptist church. Before you get out of here, we're gonna talk to you about something. You know, so.
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. There are a few people in the house that we did not acknowledge this afternoon that we need to acknowledge at this point. Phoenix High School Alumni Association is in the house with us. Can you please stand? That's Coach Lovett's high school. There's a young lady in this room, Coach. You probably don't know that she's here. But when she heard that we were honoring you, and you see I'm tearful, she said she had to be here. The players in this room that were at Hampton with me know this person when I get ready to say it. Big Ernie White's wife is here today. Stand up, Pat. Many of you, well, if you went to Hampton, you know who Ernie was. Ernie has gone on to be with the Lord. But Ernie was humongous. How tall was he, Pat? 6'9", and about 400 pounds. For real. Am I right, Bob?
And lean.
And Bob said and lean.
And mean.
Big Ernie White. Thank you, Pat, for coming today on behalf of Ernie. Yeah, he has a mic.
I want to say good afternoon to everybody. And Joan, you shouldn't start with the tears. But Coach Lovett, I need to thank you. Even before Ernie and I started dating, I used to eat dinner at 6 o'clock when the football team. I was getting just before 6. You and the coaching staff made my roommate and I, our freshman year, very enjoyable because none of the boys would talk to us, none of them would look at us, and you or some of the coaches would always, at least one coach would always sit with us because we were the only 2 girls in the cafeteria. A lot of your advice is not just for the boys, it was for the girls, especially after I started dating Ernie and for the girlfriends of the football coaches. And I didn't realize how much influence you have on me to this day. My daughter had to write a paper a couple of days ago, and some of the words that I say every day that I heard from you are in her paper that she that she wrote because I said so much. To Coach Lovett's family, I want to thank you for sharing your mother and your father with us. They meant a lot to us. They shared their love. And when I said love, Ms. Lovett shared her love. I hate to tell you, Coach, but she meant more to Ernie than what you did. And only thing I got up here to say, several people have been wondering about our son, Ernie's son and mine. He's doing fine. I wish he could have come. I'm glad he didn't because some of y'all would have had heart attacks. He looks just like his daddy. He walks like his daddy. He looks just like his daddy did when we were in our 20s. But he's down with his family in Mufflesburg, somewhere in North Carolina. He travels a lot. But he's doing fine, and I love it. Thank you for all you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. Someone referred to this gentleman that I'm getting ready to ask to stand in the room, and it kind of went over some people's heads in here because some of you all were still talking when the people were speaking at the podium, so you missed what the person said. We have a 97-year-old Hampton alum who coached high school football, and he also is connected to Dr. Lovett's brother, and he is here with us today. Please stand up, Mr. Savage. "97 years young. He was the coach at IC Norcom after he finished Hampton. Thank you, Mr. Savage, so much. There's another gentleman in the room that is 93 years young. And if I'm not mistaken, he went to school with you, Dr. Lovett. And he has called me several times, and he wanted to get here so bad, he came here 2 weeks in a row at the wrong time. But he's here today for you. Stand up, Mike Smith. He's 93 years young. Are you still in the room, Mr. Smith? He has on a Morgan State jersey. There he is, 93. All right. Now, before I introduce Dr. Lovett, Buster, you still in the room? Wait, not Buxton, Buster Jackson. Stand up, Buster.
What you trying to say?
Buster is the equipment manager in athletics. I met Buster when I was in grad school the first time. I was a dorm director. He was dating one of my residents. But Buster has been taking care of all the teams for 40 some odd years. And I said that because these HU helmets you see up here today, Buster put the stripes on them for me last night. He said, I got you, Joan, I got you. And these jerseys that you see, and Doss, Bob, Thad, all of y'all, they better be in this room when you leave here today. And you know why. These are the original jerseys, and thank you so much, Buster. Buster went back in the closets. Dr. Lovett, do you remember when our senior year, and the jerseys came and they were red, white, and blue? This is them. These are the original jerseys, and they only wore them 1 year. And so these are the original jerseys, and I'm gonna talk to Buster before he leaves the room and see, can I give you one of them? Can I, Buster? Okay. But these are the original jerseys that they wore in 1977. They only wore them 1 time, 1 year. Now, I've been tasked with introducing Dr. Lovett. I met Dr. Lovett in 1974 as a freshman, and Pat told the truth. Dr. Lovett knew all the young ladies on campus who was dating his players. I was one of them. And he knew them. He knew us by name. He knew where we lived on campus, and he mentored us just like he mentored his team. And for that, we thank you, Dr. Lovett. Yes, sir. And then, when I came back to Hampton for my first master's, I lived across the street and was known as a dorm director, and Dr. Lovett and his family were living on Sage Court. And they took their loving arms, the whole family, and put them around me. And for that, I thank you, Dr. Lovett, and I thank you, family. And we really became a family after that. And Sybil was little, 4 years old, riding on a bicycle. And then Dr. Lovett, I've kept up with Dr. Lovett ever since freshman year, and when I spoke with him and told him I decided I was going to pursue a doctorate degree, Dr. Lovett sat me down, and he gave me some sound advice, and he mentored me. I could not have made it through the program if it were not for you, Dr. Lovett. And the very thing that you told me was true. You told me to keep my first document that I wrote, and that although they would kick it back 6 or 7 times, when it came back around, that would be the document that they would take. And he was so right. Thank you for that, Dr. Lovett. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As I told you before, I have been tasked with introducing the man of the hour. I am honored and humbled to introduce this giant of a man. I told you that I met Dr. Lovett in 1974 as a freshman at Hampton Institute. And I'd also told you from that moment on, he became a mentor and a father figure to me. Dr. Lovett truly is a star. And if he had been in the movie industry, he most certainly would have received an Academy Award. All of the accolades that have been given to him today are certainly living proof of that. Webster's dictionary defines the following words so well, and they are more than appropriate to describe Dr. Lovett. Distinction, the quality or state of being distinguished or worthy of special honor or recognition. Distinguish, to set above or apart from others. Take special notice of. The word grand, having higher rank than others, bearing the same general designation, and impressive. magnificent, strikingly beautiful or impressive, majesty, greatness or splendor of quality of character. Stately, marked by lofty or imposing dignity. Lofty, superior, rising to a great height. And finally, the word eminence. A position of prominence or superiority. A person of high rank or attain. These are a few of many words in the dictionary that describe Dr. Lovett. His leadership has certainly made so many of us, not only in America, but all over the world, proud to be affiliated with him. An unknown author once said that real leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence. Dr. Lovett, you have most certainly done that. Ladies and gentlemen, stand to your feet as I present to you the man of the hour, Dr. Walter L. Lovett.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you imagine how I feel? I love you all, every one of you. I wrote 33 pages to present to you today. Luckily, my daughters reduced it to this. Now, I just want to ask you to take a second, close your eyes, look to the sky, and pray for those who have passed on, who would be here with us if they could. But we want you to honor them in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Amen. I'm not here because of me. I'm here because of you. And I love every one of you. I said I was not going to call a name today because I would omit somebody if I didn't call everybody within the sound of my voice. I love you each equally and have you in my heart. I want to thank the committee led by this man. And I thought we'd have about 10 people. And luckily I was in a room where I could look outside and I saw all these people coming. And I saw one person that got my heart, and that was Lenora Armstrong. Thank you, baby. You know, this is all about relationships. I'm so happy that my family is here. And if you don't believe in God, something's wrong. Because I have four angels who take care of me day and night. Y'all stand up. Y'all stand up to the... You know, I think part of my success in coaching was my relationship with cheerleaders. You know, they say it's hard to stop a train. When these young men become engaged, they're hard to stop. But I could talk to the girls and tell them that there was another life beyond the hand holding. And that life is your family. And you must respect your elders. And to this day, I say you must respect your elders. You know, I thought I was pretty old. 93, I'm a young man in here today. Is that right, Horace? Yeah, but, you know, I tried to just imagine how I would feel today. I didn't sleep a wink last night. And there's no feeling. I feel like I'm 6 feet 10, 350 pounds. Here I am, a little frail, knocked down guy who dedicated his life to his family. And my wife of 65 years. I'm sure is looking down on us today, and I wish he were here. What are my next moves in life? One is to get up before 2 o'clock, so please don't call me before 2. But I wake up in the morning about 12:30, go to the kitchen. My breakfast is wrapped and ready to go in the heating oven. All I have to do is press a little button and my coffee is made. Girls, I thank you for all that you do for me, because all that you do means I have nothing left to do. And I stand before you today and I tell you, I think about death. And I know that's a serious matter. But I somehow feel I'm in heaven today. Boy. One more thing, and I'm going to sit down. If anybody had told me that I would have been in contact with people who would later become what you are today, I would not have believed it. And I believe that if you respect your elders, have faith in God above, that you can do anything almost that you think of. That's good. That's good. Put down the things that bother you most that are wrong and concentrate on things that are good. It's that simple. My wife and I, after 65 years, we had a lot of differences and opinions about some things. One was talking to the cheerleaders. But I tell you, daily, this is daily, at the end of the day, we had solved those problems that we could solve, and we forgot those problems that we couldn't solve, and leave them behind you. So I say to you, live your lives, enjoy yourselves, leave behind those things that you can't solve, and concentrate on the ones that you can solve, and in due time. I'm going to quit. The biggest joy I had in all of this relationships is to know that young men with whom I was associated or who were associated with me grew up to be you, this group here. Give yourselves a hand. And I'm sorry, Dr. Williams, the new president of Hampton University, had to leave. He had an appointment. But I wanted to tell him, you only owe me about $3.5 million. But one year, I was athletic director, head football coach, and chairman of the physical education health department. All three. And you see me now, I was weighing about 10 pounds less than this. But it was done. And I'm honored to be here and stand and tell you it's an honor to be on the same stage with the winningest coach in Hampton history, Joe Taylor. Okay. And I'll close with this. Again, I say I said I had 4 angels, but I have many more than that. 4 daughters, 11 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and all of them would do anything that I ask of them that's within reason. But why would a guy from California fly to Hampton, Virginia to be here today? Why would a young lady who has to have a walker be here today? Why would grandchildren come from Maryland down here to be with me today? But I have seen, it's just so surprising. I'm not able to tell you how much I appreciate your being here, each and every one of you. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I will always respect and honor you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great day.
Okay, so now we've got a video presentation from the current athletic director at Hampton. And then we'll hear from Coach Prunty.
Coach, I just want to say on behalf of our president, Darrell K. Williams, the Department of Athletics, our student athletes, coaches, and the many students and student athletes that you have touched over the many years of your time here at Hampton University. We want to say thank you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do. Just like the other day you came and inspired our football program and our football players as they get ready for the 2022 season. We hope to see you around at some of the games. Look forward to it. We just want to thank you for your mentorship, not only as a coach, faculty member, department chair, but an athletic director. You have set the table that all of us that follow behind you have been able to eat off of. So again, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there, but I want to wish you and your family the best, your former football players, our current football players, and go Pirates.
All right, we're going to have Bobby Buxton's going to come up and make a presentation to Coach. And before he tells you, he's going to tell you that he walked here from Intermediate, Mississippi. So
all right, Coach. Well, Coach, they let me down a little bit. I'm going to talk to you, too. They let me down a little bit when they put me on this committee because I had big plans, Coach. I said, Coach called me by my name all the time, Bobby Buxton. I used to just love that Bobby Buxton. I told Baker, if he likes you, he call your whole name. If he don't like you, he call you Jensen. And y'all think I'm playing, watch when Coach call your name now. He don't call your whole name, you may be on the list down below. But Coach, when they put me on the committee, I said, Baker, let's get a statue. He said, we can't get no statue, Buxton. Statue costs a lot of money. I said, Baker, we can do anything. Coach always told us anything. Let's get a statue. Buxton, we're not going to get a statue. I said, all right then. 2 weeks later, I went back and said, Jensen, let's get one of those plaques when people walk by, it'll light up. Where you coming up with all these crazy ideas? I say, you know, I like those things when you walk by and you see them and get so close to them, they just light up. I said, can you imagine Coach having one of them in the house every time somebody walk by and light up? Oh, that went out to 1 to 2. So, Coach, it finally came down to what I always said a lot of times when we were doing things, is that I'd never take my job lightly. And I said, well, I'm going to put a tuxedo hat on. You made me the last person on the doggone thing. But people always remember the last person that show up because I never came on the field until them other 60 guys came on first. Never. And Don will tell you this straight up. Where are those defensive backs that helped this man have the best seasons that he had those 2 years? Stand up, those defense. Nobody but the defensive backs. Stand up. There they are. Coach. Hey, I appreciate you guys because, you know, you made our job easy. And it was one other thing that I looked at. I said, Don and I think it was Bay and all the rest of them, they always, you know, had high morals about a lot of stuff. But I had some friends that I ran with, you know, over here. We didn't take football serious till the gun went off. Then at that time, we would be more serious than anybody. But Coach Lovett, I always say that for me, coming from Itta, Mississippi, I don't know how he found me down there, no way, because nobody else could find me. Itta, Mississippi had Jerry Rice. They had a couple other guys, Wilbert Montgomery, who played for the Eagle. And I used to play a game with Wilbert. The leaves would fall down, Coach, and we would try to get out. But we got something for you tonight, and I hope that we can use this for you to remember Jensen by, because this was Jensen's idea all the way. and if you do one thing for me tonight, call him Jensen Baker from now on. Just don't say Jensen. Because you should like him by now, after about 10 interceptions and stuff like that. And you know, and they know Thomas, you know I talk a lot because I got the whole team in trouble most of the time by talking. But anyway, you would have had some couple of more wins if the offense hadn't given the ball up on the 1 yard line or the 8 yard line. You would have had an 8-2 season that year and a championship. I ain't never stopped liking them from that day. Okay, Dr. Walter Lovett, the legendary coach, Hampton University professor, athletic director, and coach. In appreciation of your many years and dedication service to the family, friends, and player, we say thank you. July the 16th, 2022. You gotta love it. Pirate Football Committee. All right.
Okay. Jenny, you gonna come up? All right.
Hello, everyone. Whew. We know this is all for Daddy, but let me tell you, you have touched our hearts just as much. My father is the youngest of 5 boys, raised out in Big Bethel. We used to call it going out the country when we were little. Now it's all built up and everything. But I'd like to take a moment to ask our family, our whole family, to please stand, because we thank you so much for your support. Come on. We're a big family. When we get together, it's a party just because. And all of you on the dais, everyone on the committee that worked for this, we just thank you tremendously. When I think back to Carver High School, I was just a child. But I went to Carver Elementary School, and we would let out earlier than high school, so I would go sit in my Aunt Doris's class and watch her teach English in awe. She was just the most fabulous woman, black woman with poise, and just knew all of this English stuff, and she would diagram the sentences, and I just was in awe. Then I would leave Carver Elementary, go over to Carver High School, and sit and wait for Daddy to finish football practice, and we'd come home. So a lot of you guys at Carver High School, I looked up to you, had a crush on a couple of you. I won't mention anybody's names, but I was young. But anyway, it was a wonderful time. I felt family at Carver, and I just appreciate you guys coming back and being here for Daddy. We left Carver and went up to Ettrick, Virginia, at Virginia State College. It was a wonderful experience growing up. I was always a tomboy. I wanted to do everything my brother did. I was his Robin when he was Batman, and he had me jumping off the roof of the garage. I wanted to play football. They wouldn't let me, but I remember my father had a side gig at Virginia State. He had 2 dump trucks. I wanted so badly to drive one of those trucks, but I didn't. But what he did take me and taught me with his side hustle, he taught me how to write checks. He taught me how to balance the bank statement. So he made me feel like I was a part of his Lovett and Son enterprise. I remember so many of you. Ron Bullock was my drowning person when I was taking my lifeguard test. Of course, he helped me out a lot. I could not bring him to the side of the pool. Merchant, all you guys from Virginia State, that was just awesome for you all to be here today. So when I graduated from high school, I said, well, I don't want to go to Virginia State. My parents are here. So I'll go to Hampton. Big stretch, right? Had a lot of family, but they were kind of far away, so I felt okay. So I came to Hampton in 1973. In the summer of 1973, my whole family moved to Hampton. I was like, what? I did get one good year of creating my own identity before I became Coach Lovett's daughter. Sybil was about 4 years old. She was riding her bicycle around. Daddy would let her come over to the practice field, and she would ride around the field while they had football practice. She told me she was always a little scared of Ernie White. Or Reggie, who was it? Ernie White. He had an arrow cut in his hair, and Sybil was like, what is going on? Also, Bob City and Zoe and I all in the same class, so we had a lot of stories. In fact, I remember many times Bob would say, Gina, your dad is something. I'm like, yeah, I know. He said, some of the words he uses with us. We said, not our daddy. No way. Because he never used those words at home. He rarely raised his voice, maybe a couple of times. Susan, Kimberly. Sybil was little, so she just kind of rolled through. Skitch and I, he raised his voice a couple of times. But he was always committed to his family. You talk about sacrifice. Daddy would be gone to scout teams and watch films and go to practice. What'd you say, 4 times a day? He was gone. He was gone a lot. But we never noticed it. We never felt like he wasn't there for us. He was always around and was the father that we all needed. I remember one of my sisters, I won't mention her name, but she lived in Northern Virginia. Okay, so anyway, she called home one day, and she told a story last night about him helping her get her first car. But she called one day and said, Daddy, there's a big water bug and I can't kill it. My father got in his car, drove up to Northern Virginia, found that daggone water bug and killed it. I was like, Daddy, really? But that's the kind of father he was. Even though it seemed frivolous and, like, oh, Daddy, you don't have to drive. He said, no, my daughter wants me, she needs me, and I'm going. And that's the kind of father he has been for us. And not just father, but grandfather and great-grandfather. His grandchildren, he would always impress them. Don't look at my arm, but anyway, he would roll that sleeve up. He said, see that rock? And they would all grab one and he would pick them up. And man, it was like, whoa. So we all remember that, Daddy. There are so many things that I want to say, but I don't want to be told to move the chains, so I'll try to make it brief. But I did want to also mention that Wendy Davis, who is part of the Virginia State crowd, thought enough, not just about our father, but our mother. And she sent each of us a white rose that we could wear today. And although this is my dad's day, you all know that my mother was there for each and every one of you. She invited y'all in the house. We would come home and say, well, what happened to all the food? Well, Ron came by, and Merch came by, and this one came by, but she welcomed you all into our home. You all are a very special part of our family. We always remember our father as a humble, loving father, a humble man. You would never see him telling people what he's done, who he is, who he's coached, who went to the NFL. A humble man from humble beginnings, out on the corner of Big Bethel and Simple Farm Roads. We didn't really realize the impact he was making in the lives of so many. But today, as President Williams said, when people show up to celebrate you, those are your credentials. When we heard how many people were coming here today to honor our father, to show him your love, it touched us all deeply. We thank God for our powerful, loving, honorable, and humble father, who has always remained a great father and a faithful husband. You all call him by many nicknames. There's Mr. Magic, Daddy Love. We call him Deal. We don't know where that nickname came from, but our grandchildren call him Deal. They don't call him Grandpa, Great-Grandpa, whatever the names are, Papa, Papa, Pop, Pop, Pop for great-grandfather, but they call him Deal. And his great-grandchildren have created relationships with him. We pray that they will remember they're young, but his grandchildren, his children, his in-laws, he has all shown us great love, what it is to be a man, what it is to sacrifice. Now, you know, he had 5 children. He's got how many grandchildren, Daddy, did you say? 11 grandchildren. And 8 great-grandchildren. 9 great-grandchildren. You know how it is when you see people and try to remember their names? Well, we do that in our family. We might be looking at you and say, Kimberly, Sybil, Jillian, Jordan, we'll get there. Well, what we have done, we are all Tippa. Every one of us is Tippa. And so, Tippa, to you, we just thank God for all you have shown us, all you have been, the love that you all have shown him today, we will forever keep in our hearts. And I thank you on behalf of my sisters and my brother who has passed on. I saw a picture of him up there with a bald head. That's crazy. But we just appreciate you all more than I can ever say. And there are people here that are not football players, that were not cheerleaders, that weren't on the basketball team, that maybe were just friends of ours, that have known and loved you as well, Daddy, and they're here today too. So I just want to thank you all on behalf of our family. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm going to make a couple of comments, and I'm going to ask Coach Prunty to come up. But one of the things you've heard throughout all the comments is about the difference that Coach made in people's lives. Last night, some of the players got to sit down and tell him face to face. I told him I know he saved me because I wasn't on the right path. And but he saved me, you know. But all Coach ever asked us to do was just be a man. Have some standards. Pay attention to what people think about you. So they were talking about coaching that cigarette. And he could discuss things with you in about 7 different languages, and the ashes would never fall out the cigarette. But I still don't know how he did that. But he just always said, in that time, a lot of players smoked. And he said, I'm not worried about you smoking. He said, I'm going to get you in shape. He said, but you lose a game and you walk around campus with a cigarette, guess why they're going to say you lost the game? I mean, just simple. Just pay attention to what people think of you and what kind of presence you put out there. Well, one of the things that's important to us is we want the name of Lovett to mean something past today on Hampton's campus. So, Coach, we're going to create an endowment in the name of Walter L. Lovett. And I see some of my teammates in here, and I made the initial deposit. And before the money can be distributed, and it's for football players, and before that money can be distributed, we got to meet $50,000. So the doors are getting ready to lock, and it ain't nobody going home. No, but we really feel like there ought not be a reason that we can't hit that $50,000 number by the end of this year. And just like in church, there are envelopes. Yeah, there are envelopes in your seats, at your seats at the table. And you can pay today, you can pledge today, but it's Hampton, they will take your money. Yeah, that's for certain. But you have to indicate that it's for the Walter L. Lovett Endowed Scholarship. And that's what we want to do for our coach, because our coach made more successful college graduates than he did pro football players. And that's what it's all about. Coach?
I'm going to be brief. Guys, let's give Coach Joe Tell a hand again. Let's give him a hand. If you understand coaching and you're in coaching, you know that he's in the College Football Hall of Fame. You don't get no bigger than that. Don't get no bigger than that. Now, let's get to you, Coach. Let's get to you. 3 weeks ago, Coach came over to the football office. Is it okay if I say Justin? Jensen, can I say Jensen? I ain't gonna say Baker right now, okay? Jensen brought him over to the football. Coach talked to the football team, and he touched all those guys. I go back to work the next day, and one of the young men that's a graduate student, he asked me, he said, Coach, we researched Coach Lovett. And they said, well, why ain't Coach Lovett in the Hall of Fame? And it hit me. It's almost like when my children at home asked me, Daddy, what about this? I didn't have no answer. And the day when I was sitting here, I was going to talk about, when the late Reverend Billy Graham said that a coach touched more people in a season than the average person do in a lifetime. But God said no. He said no. You have the right people in this room. Now listen, I want everybody to lock in now. We need one more first down. We can score a lot of points, but we need one more first down to get to the victory. And you guys know now, Coach Lovett, 93 years old. You can go out here, you had the mayor here, you had the president here. You can elect councilmen, you can elect senators. Now you tell me why the people here at Hampton, it's time now. You got a new president, it's time. Let's put Coach Lovett in the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out. If anybody needs a pen to fill out that envelope, I'll be happy to. Hampton University, and in the memo line, the Walter L. Lovett Endowed Scholarship. I was making a point to use them. Everybody good? All righty. Thank you.